The attic air hung thick and dusty, smelling of forgotten summers and mothballs. 13-year-old Leo, armed with a flashlight and a morbid curiosity for anything forbidden, was rummaging through the remnants of his late great-aunt Mildred's life. He expected to find dusty furniture, yellowed letters, maybe a skeleton in a closet, metaphorically speaking, of course. He certainly didn't expect the antique gramophone to whisper, "Welcome to Story-ational. Get ready for thrilling, mysterious and unforgettable stories that will keep you hooked till the very end." Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications so you never miss a new story. Let's dive into the world of imagination together. It started subtly. A faint hum, a vibration that seemed to resonate not just in the air, but directly inside his head. Then a clear, though crackly, voice. "Careful with the needle, boy. Those grooves hold memories, you know." Leo froze, his breath catching in his throat. He looked around, convinced someone was playing a prank. But the attic was empty. Then the gramophone spoke again, its brass horn gleaming in the flashlight beam. "Well, are you going to stand there gawking all day? Or are you going to listen?" That was the beginning. Leo could talk to things. A chipped porcelain doll revealed childhood secrets. A dusty old mirror showed him fleeting glimpses of the past, and a worn leather-bound diary whispered tales of love, betrayal, and hidden fortunes. Initially, it was thrilling. A private club. A secret language shared only between Leo and the inanimate world. He spent hours in the attic, interrogating his surroundings, uncovering fragments of Mildred's mysterious past, but the revelations soon became unsettling. The objects spoke of a missing emerald necklace, a scandalous affair, and a family curse. The mirror showed him a woman, pale and distraught, being silenced by a shadowy figure. The diary contained cryptic entries hinting at a conspiracy that spanned generations. Leo, once amused, was now terrified. He was caught in a web of secrets, and the objects were his unwilling yet unavoidable guides. The tension in the house thickened. Leo found himself constantly glancing at objects, wondering what they were withholding. The grandfather clock in the hall ticked with a menacing rhythm, its pendulum heavy, silent accusation. The polished mahogany table in the dining room seemed to watch him, its surface reflecting the fear that was consuming him. One stormy night, the antique rocking chair in Mildred's room, usually silent, started swaying violently, creaking and groaning. "They're coming," it rasped, its voice filled with dread. "They know you know." Leo fled the attic, his heart pounding. The chair spoke of. Who were they? He didn't have to wonder long. The next day, a sleek black car pulled up in front of the house. Two men, their faces grim, emerged and knocked on the door. They were looking for the necklace, they said, a family heirloom. They also mentioned Mildred's research into historical archives, something that would be very valuable to them if he cooperated. Leo knew then that he was in serious danger. The objects had revealed a truth that someone was desperately trying to bury. He was no longer just a curious teenager. He was a key player in a deadly game. He decided he couldn't trust anyone, not even his parents, who might be unknowingly involved. He spent the next few days gathering clues, deciphering the diary entries, and consulting the objects. The mirror showed him a secret passage behind the fireplace in the living room. The diary mentioned a hidden vault. He realized the vault was the key to unraveling the mystery and finding the necklace. The gramophone revealed the location of a hidden key sewn inside an old stuffed bear. Following the clues, Leo discovered the vault. Inside, he found not only the emerald necklace, sparkling under the weak light of his flashlight, but also a trove of documents that detailed the truth of the conspiracy. The men were descendants of Mildred's betrayed lover, and they wanted to bury all evidence. As he was about to leave the vault, the men burst in. They had followed him. A tense standoff ensued. The men were ruthless and determined. But then Leo remembered something the gramophone had said in a moment of revelation. Sound can be a weapon. He grabbed the gramophone and, with a desperate cry, cranked it up, aiming the horn at the men. The music blared, amplified by the confined space. A cacophony of crackling static and distorted sound. It worked. The men, disoriented by the sudden noise, clutched their ears, losing their balance. Leo, seizing the opportunity, made his escape. Clutching the necklace and the incriminating documents, he ran, the objects whispering their support and their urgent warnings. He reached the police, gave them the evidence, and the men were arrested. Back in the attic, bathed in the soft light of the setting sun, Leo looked at the gramophone, the mirror, and all the other objects. The house was quiet now, the oppressive tension lifted. He had solved the mystery, exposed the truth, and saved himself. He knew he could still hear them, the whispers of the past. The ability to talk to objects was a gift, a burden, a secret that would forever change the way he saw the world. And though his life was never going to be normal, he knew he was ready for whatever the future held, because he had the help of the objects, the silent witnesses to his life. He knew, with a certainty that settled deep within him, that his story was only just beginning. The next day, Leo returned to the attic, feeling a strange mix of fear and anticipation. He was no longer just a boy. He was a detective, a keeper of secrets. He knew the objects could help him uncover the rest of the truth, and he was determined to do everything he could to uncover them all. He started with the porcelain doll, the one that initially started the journey. The doll, it turned out, had belonged to Mildred's mother. He talked with the doll, who told him about her life. She revealed the necklace, and how Mildred's mother was the one who betrayed her. This betrayal led to the whole conspiracy. The diary contained clues to a hidden treasure map, a map that had a connection to the lost necklace, and also to a secret room hidden somewhere in the town. Following the map, Leo found a hidden passage within an old abandoned building. It led to a secret chamber where he discovered the treasure map and some old clues, but the treasure was nowhere to be found. Instead, Leo found clues about a coded message, a secret message within Mildred's letters, and he was able to decipher them. He was able to get to another secret room, one that held the truth about the conspiracy. The men that he met were actually the heirs to the family fortune. They were not after the necklace. They were after the truth. They wanted to find the family fortune and the history of the stolen jewels, but they were after more than just the jewels. The family had been cursed for generations, a curse that involved dark family secrets, curses, and hidden fortunes. They had to find the secret room, which contained the clues to the curse's secrets. As he started to look at the pieces, the clues started to connect to the old journal. A message appeared, and it was a warning. The secret is to the past, but also to the future. What does that mean? Leo asked the mirror. The mirror revealed the truth. The secret wasn't about what had happened, but what was going to happen. He realized that the curse wasn't a curse at all. It was a riddle. Leo followed the clues, realizing that the riddle was in the family's history. The curse was on the house itself. It had been built on a location where something important had taken place. He had to go back. He had to go back to the attic, to the objects, and to the clues he was given. He spent days looking through the objects, the clues, and the family history. The clues led him to the past, to Mildred. Mildred was the one who knew how to break the curse. He had to break it now. He returned to the attic, and he heard the echoes of the objects, the whispering of the past. He then began to understand it. The objects were the key, the mirror was the time machine, and the treasure was his own life. With the help of the objects, he was able to break the curse. He then found the lost necklace, and with it, the secret that his great-aunt had been keeping all this time. The curse was lifted. He had found the treasure he was looking for all along, not in a room or in a fortune, but within himself. Now, he knew he was ready for the future. He had the courage to break curses, the ability to communicate with objects, and the strength to face anything the world might throw at him. The silence in the attic had shifted. It was no longer the eerie quiet of neglect, but the expectant hush of a room reborn. The sunlight streamed through the dusty windows, illuminating the objects in a new light. The emerald necklace, now safely in his possession, shimmered with a gentle, captivating glow. Leo felt a shift within himself, a newfound clarity that resonated with the subtle whispers of the objects. The whispers now offered guidance, no longer just recounting the past, but offering glimpses into the future. He realized that the power wasn't just in the objects themselves, but in his ability to understand them, to interpret their fragmented narratives and weave them into a cohesive whole. One object, a small, intricately carved wooden box, began to hum insistently. It was a new voice, a sound he hadn't heard before. The next step, the next secret. It's within you, it murmured, the vibrations echoing in his mind. Leo opened the box, revealing not treasures, but a collection of blank parchment scrolls and a small silver quill. He realized what it meant. The objects, in their wisdom, were offering him the opportunity to write his own story, to create his own destiny. He could use the power to change the past and the future. He picked up the quill, the silver cool against his fingers. As he wrote, the words came to him effortlessly, flowing from him like a current. He wrote about the events that led him to the attic, the secrets he uncovered, and the choices he made. He wrote about his fears, his triumphs, and his evolving understanding of his newfound ability. But he wrote with a different aim, not to tell the past, but to shape the future. He started with the men, the inheritors of the curse. He wrote of their potential for good, the chance to break the cycle of their family's history. He wrote of reconciliation, of healing, of a new legacy built on honesty and understanding. As he wrote, the attic seemed to shift, the atmosphere lightening, the shadows receding. Then he turned his attention to the town. He saw the potential for growth and change, the chance to revitalize the community and help its people thrive. He wrote of new opportunities, of a future where the town could be a place of hope and prosperity. But amidst all the writing, the mirror began to glow with a deep red, a flash of warning. He saw a vision, a distorted image of his home, ravaged by a mysterious fire. He saw people, his family, running for their lives, their faces contorted with fear and anguish. It was a potential future, a path he had to avoid. He wrote a new story, a different future. He wrote about a vigilant community, about safety, about the importance of fire safety and of awareness. He wrote of a secure future, a home filled with laughter and love. He wrote about how he could prevent the fire, how he could protect everyone. The days blurred into weeks, and the attic became his sanctuary, a space of creation and transformation. The objects continued to guide him, to offer insights and inspiration. The gramophone played comforting melodies as he wrote. The doll offered silent encouragement, and the mirror provided glimpses of alternate realities. He was a storyteller, a guardian, a weaver of destinies. Finally, he finished the last scroll, the quill falling from his hand. He took a deep breath and looked around the attic at the objects that had been his companions and his guides. He felt a profound sense of accomplishment and a quiet confidence in his ability to shape his own destiny. He knew the journey wasn't over. There would be more secrets, more mysteries, more challenges. But he was ready. He was no longer just a boy who could talk to objects. He was a guardian, a protector, a writer of futures. He descended from the attic, feeling lighter, more alive. He then went to the men, the inheritors of the curse. He showed them what he wrote, his story of healing, his story of a different future. He then told them about the secrets that were held in the town. With the help of the men, he saved his town, broke the curse, and changed his own future. Leo then began to live, the world unfolding around him like a book he was writing himself. His story continued. His life took on a new form. The house, the objects, the curse, they all began to fade into the past, but never truly leaving. They were his foundation. The men, the inheritors of the curse, started to work together. They rebuilt the relationship with the family and with the town. Leo helped, with the help of the objects, to bring them together. Using his ability to read their feelings and understand their needs, he continued to write, not just to shape the future, but to record it. He wrote about the good he was doing, about the people he helped, about the growth in his own heart. He wrote about the lessons he learned, about the experiences that shaped him. He wrote about the magic he discovered within himself. One day, he met a girl named Clara, a girl as curious and adventurous as he was. They fell in love, and he shared with her his world of hidden secrets, his ability to communicate with objects, his passion for shaping the world around him. She embraced it all, encouraging his gifts, and he was the one to write her stories of triumph. They were a team. They were now the ones together. Together, they ventured into the world. Together, they sought out mysteries. Together, they helped the ones in need. They did good. They found goodness. And they wrote it all down, each word a testament to their love and to their shared purpose. They found other lost objects, some that they took to their house, and then wrote stories. They looked into their futures. They saw hope and joy, but also challenges. They saw darkness, but also the capacity to bring light. As the years passed, Leo and Clara grew old together, their love as strong as it had been on the first day. They sat on the porch of their house, watching the sunset, surrounded by the objects that had shaped their lives. The attic was still there, but it wasn't only a place of secrets anymore. Leo knew his story was not over. It was continuing. He knew he had changed the world for the better because he had changed himself. He knew that the objects, the curse, the mysteries, the journey, they had all been a part of him. He picked up his quill one last time, and he wrote down his last words, not for the future, but for the present. The story doesn't end. It transforms. He closed his eyes, and he smiled. The world went quiet, and as he opened his eyes, he saw that the objects were looking at him with love and approval. He was home. The magic was never gone. The objects remained to whisper to the next generation, carrying on the stories, the power and the hope that Leo and Clara had created, that had been created by the power of a boy who had loved and had been loved in return. He was now one with the story.